To enter a false mirror is to risk watching ourselves distorted, transfigured, blurred, or irreversibly shattered. It is to sacrifice our own images to the virtual trickeries of its glass surface, where materiality and the ethereal, play and oblivion, bleed together seamlessly, though it holds all the dreams of the world. Still, one should be careful what one wishes for, especially when staring into false mirrors. Sacred Hill is its own special dimension of the false mirror, one of altered states found only at the limit of the body's disappearance. It is where we undergo the process of being consumed by a ritual machine, a contraption of mystical intensities that reaches deep into archaic spheres of occultism. Here all architectural laws are broken. Here is where we observe the vanishing of identity and the enchantment of a stranded consciousness. For the sacred hill was created to take these four categories: tangibility and touch, transformation and time, vision and light, perception and perspective, to the edges of their excess, wonder, and disintegration. Here the soul itself becomes an object of pure imagination. All experiences of the outer boundaries are based on paradoxes, and so it is that we ascend a sacred hill by first descending, going far below, into a subterranean hall of ever-fragmenting mirrors that hide portals and gateways. This corridor leads us to a calibration room with a sort of technological altar at its center, the apparatus that runs our ritual, allowing us to initiate the first stages of entrancement, to make our bodies levitate, to abandon solidity and master the drift, while also reminding us of the price, that something must always be sacrificed to make the world sacred. The first movement is to rise upward through fumes into a euphoric chamber. Its formless, wine-colored walls remind us of those islands of the lotus eaters where one becomes forever lost in ecstasy, forgetting how they ever arrived and never wanting to leave. Such is the first lesson of disembodiment, to endure the suspension of our very existence, and the first step into a circular labyrinth in which we will never be the same again. This is also where we meet a mysterious figure, a fortune teller, a reader of tarot cards, who selects one for us alone, hanging us in the balance of a single drawing, as if to tell us that fate is no simple game, and that futurity is always something of a perilous double bind between will and chance. The card is therefore a riddle. Its eeriness harbors the self that we do not recognize within us, like meeting someone in an alley who wears our face as their mask. Soon enough, we find ourselves in the first tunnel. Its ritualistic conspiracy is unmistakable as we float through the ancient sacred design of the Ouroboros, that coiling snake devouring its own tail, its haunting image first found in the books of Cleopatra the Alchemist millennia ago, alongside the words, "The all is one." The snake's intricate green scales start to constitute space itself, as we inhabit this twisted symbol of annihilation, resurgence, and eternity. More than this, it is here, in the radical strangeness of the first ring, that we gain a startling inhuman power, the ability to manipulate objects, to alter their trajectories and orbits through open air, with the simple motioning of our hands. Still, some eternities last only an instant, and soon after we traverse into a second tunnel of hallucinatory contours. Here the surroundings pulsate and expand like a living organ or funhouse maze. We are in the delirium of the spiral now, the deranged blueprint of a mad architect who cannot tell the difference between high and low, beginning and end, narrowness and immensity. More than this, we are caught in an unstoppable carnivalesque rhythm, pulled through its passageway by an unknown gravitational force, something like a whirlpool. From the center of its spectacle, though, we learn the keystone of another power, that the cylinder's shape, time, and sound all swell or contract according to our own outstretched arms. Temporality bends to our fluid desire. Movement surrenders itself to a dice throw of our own choosing. The silhouettes and patterns around us are immediate extensions of our ability to accelerate, decelerate, or freeze time altogether. The third tunnel envelops us in sudden darkness, like those medieval sages who spoke of searching endlessly within blindness. Thus we stumble through the pitch black of a basement or the antechamber room of a ruined temple, all the while surrounded by esoteric diagrams inscribed on the stone walls, like those hieroglyphs of the Great Pyramids where the first sorcerers charted journeys of the dead. We face the cryptic logic of emblems and idols everywhere. They are written in tongues of the enigma, the rumor, and the whisper. This tells us that we are in the realm of absolute secrecy, where all the ciphers of the ritual coalesce, and where we must derive our third sacred power, that of illumination. Here our virtual hands become spotlights, able to trace the etchings carved across the ceilings and floors of this obscure place, each one a password or map into the otherworldly. The fourth tunnel comes with a perspectival shift where we lose the ground beneath and subject our bodies to horizontal turning. For all destinies require some disorientation and vertigo, one that leaves us in perpetual freefall toward the sacred hill. Here at the final destination point, tumbling down a cosmic balcony, we are given only partial and fast glimpses into the nature of the ritual itself. Flashes of sacred geometry, mechanistic vessels, and vegetal landscapes all collide, bringing the pagan universe of primordial myths and the futuristic sectors of hacked perception into conspiracy together. So it is that the origin of all things and the end of the world might just be engraved in the same code, the same zone, after all. Nevertheless, we are not allowed to linger in this atmosphere long, nor to inhale its metamorphic moods in large dosages. For soon 2 globes of black smoke appear. They follow us around. They threaten us ominously like playthings of the infinite, the impermanent, and the insubstantial. Their function is to enshroud us in a certain midnight, to bring about our gradual erasure and banishment from the sacred hill. Their hovering is no less than the sensation of the nothing itself, the breath and touch of the nothing upon our backs. So it is that all rituals end in a return to the 0 degree, between shadow and silence.